taking this chance to welcome you guys to this ZBrush sculpting course. So it's going to be a full class, which I don't know when this is it's going to end, but referring to our previous classes, our beginner classes, where we went through the entire interface. Now we're continuing it with the next stage, where we let's start sculpting something. Because it's kind of different when you watching tutorials, you trying to learn the interface and how ZBrush works and stuff. It's totally different, and then when you start sculpting, and then everything just changes. So I'm very glad. I'm very glad you guys have joined us, and thank you guys for your support. Those who have subscribed to us and with care, with looking at the potential, and we're very excited that we can help you guys with something. So without any further ado, let's jump into sculpting. So I have a sphere over here. Like if you open ZBrushCore, or if you have ZBrush, it's gonna be a bit different, but then the workflow, it's gonna be the same. So if you like gonna be having like ZBrushCore, you're gonna have a sphere like this, so you can follow along with this. I think we're gonna start from a sphere and then take it from there. So to close this grid over here, this is the floor. You just go over here, but the shortcut is Shift P. So you just get used to the shortcut, Shift P, and then we're done. And then yes, that. Then, so what we're gonna do today, I think we're gonna we're gonna be sculpting a torso, human torso. So it's gonna be an anatomy study at the. It's gonna be an anatomy study anyway. So basically, if we can take this year like this, let's finish the entire human body piece by piece. Like let's take like probably like we're gonna take like the upper limb, and we just gonna be focusing on that upper limb, all those parts, everything, all the superficial muscles, and probably the skin details and texturing, hopefully. But let's focus on so hopefully this won't take probably like 6 months or so, like this full class, because yeah, you guys gonna be asking questions, we interacting with us in the group chat, so we will be available also. So it's gonna be like everyone who will be posting also the project files, and we're critiquing each other, and it's gonna be like extremely like it's we're gonna be hopefully we're gonna go through everything, everything. I hope so. Let's start this class. So I don't know why I started with the torso and not the face, but we're gonna be sculpting the face also. So the entire human body, we're gonna be going through that. Cool. So I've assigned hotkeys for all these brushes over here at the bottom, so you might not see me go here. I might, but then I doubt, which makes my life very easy. And I also might close this and go to full screen. So to close all these sides, because we're not going to be using this for now, just click tab on your keyboard will hide that. And before I close this, I'll go to Dynamesh. So let's go to geometry, Dynamesh, Oh, it's turned on by default. Okay, because this is the sphere. Just checking that. Just check that and just check your symmetry to transform. Symmetry has to be active. If it's orange like this, then it's active. So you just checking those and just go back to, depending which brush are you in, but normally I'll have old back face masking. Let's just close this for now. So if you double tap on these arrows, you can close the slider. We went through this in the ZBrush basics. So now we have the full screen. Okay, let's start. Let's start the block out. Switching between move topological, or let me just take the move brush. I think I'm gonna lower down the resolution because we don't need much. It's very hard to work with such just 56. Let's see. Even this too high. It's 16. Oh, that's gonna be too small. Let's say 25. So if it doesn't update, just click anyway. Just do like a small touch on your mesh, and then Dynamesh will update if you're having that issue. I'm closing that. Back to this. So we're gonna be going to that. So depending on which subscription plan you're in, like the premium students have this or anatomy figures as reference, and for which they can download. But if you on any plan, you still have our 3D viewer to view all these anatomy figures for reference, so you don't need to stress about reference there. So for the basic subscription plan, you only have the anatomy figures, but for the pro and the premium users have the entire library of 3D anatomy models. They can view all of them in our 3D viewer. Side view. Basically, what I have in mind is the rib cage, which it's lying underneath. Just grab my clay build-up. That's too harsh. Holding down U on your keyboard and don't let go. Click U and then click and drag. You can control the intensity. I'll put down to 3. I normally use 3 or 5 or so. Just make it as soft as possible. And then let's see. I think let's do some arms over here. Not like arm, but then just shoulders. So holding down control, I done that mask, and then if I click, I can inverse, and then hold down W. I can get this move thingy, and holding down Alt and Alt option, and that corner I can move this over here, and then I can drag this X, just move this outside. And see how it looks. Just is that a bit too much? Yeah, and then Q, and then Control click, and then Dynamesh. Okay, we have that. Okay, we have that, and then I'll grab my move brush again. everything is a bit messy right now, but it's gonna get there one step at a time. One step at a time. So if I'm moving too fast, or if you didn't see something, don't worry. You guys have like lifetime access. Like currently, it's lifetime access for every subscriber. And we'll update you guys if there's any changes. Let's do a neck over here also, just a tiny control click, and then W, and then hold on Alt option so you can move it wherever over here, and then just move the Y axis just like so. Q, control drag, and then just move that, and then I'll switch to my topological, and these project files will be available for pro members. Pro members, so yeah. Hold on B, you can just move quickly to your brushes. I just chose okay, let's do the move brush again. Just want to get that going on. It look like a torso. So this is a male right now we eyeballing everything, so if we were doing a full body, we were going to be making sure our measurements are precise, but we will go through measurements, I believe. So we released like a tutorial going through proportions. It's in our YouTube channel, so it's one of those free resources you guys can have a look at also. So if you just confused like how do we do our measurements and stuff, but then if there's any questions, you guys can just hop them in. Okay, let's start with the sketching. Once we not totally happy with the silhouette, but then once we have something going on, because basically we doing the block out the silhouette. So you can open our 3D viewer on the side and just choose the male and enemy figure, and then you good to go. And then you can just turn it around depending on which browser you're in, so it depends on that. Which browser you're in, but I'm just being picky here. Okay, so it's like he's wearing a t-shirt. Danish. Okay, cool. So let's do the sketching, the fun part. Go to choose any. I choose Damien Standard. I have my symmetry over here. What we're gonna start with, let's start with the collarbone. The collarbone is the clavicle. I'm just gonna everything. It's like it doesn't make sense as yet, but you get the basic idea. So the collarbone curves, and then it just does that. Let's get more resolution here. Dynamish. Let's give it a 80. Yeah, I think that would do for now. Let's erase that. So turn down the intensity so it curves like so, and it meets with the scapula, that the part of the scapula, this part flat section is the chromium process, and then the scapula turns to the back. So it turns to the back like so. So this is just a rough sketch. So first defining the bones underneath, and then so that distance from here to here, it's supposed to be one cranium, but we're not doing any measurements now. So we have our spine going on. Scapula. It's called the shoulder blade. Okay, and we have a sternum. Sternum over here, manubrium, sternum, the body of the sternum, and then we have our xiphoid process, and then it's going to be our cage. So you won't be drawing any. Let's just do it. So the first rib, second rib. Obviously this is it's gonna disappear. Third. And the cartilages. I'm not gonna be doing anything precise, it's just the rib cage. So, and there's these floating ribs. So we know here where the rib cage ends. There's we have our T12. So the last thoracic thoracic vertebrae. So T12, and then yeah. And then you have our lumbar vertebrae over here. Yeah, it's lumbar vertebrae, so there's nothing over here. Oh, obliques muscle will cover everything there. So once we have like our guidelines. So say this is a humerus. Yeah, the humerus. What am I saying? Once we have our guidelines, everything it's just sketchy. It's not like that precise. We're still gonna play around with the silhouette. Like the more I look into it, and the more I see where the shape has to be. So like on a male, this part it's shorter. This I mean it's longer than the female. So just be careful with that. Okay, let's grab a clay butter brush. Let's do the muscles. I'm gonna start with the prominent one. So the pectoralis major. So it's coming from that it inserts also. So it originates from the sternum. Sternum. This is the sternal head, because it originates from the sternum. They all go into the humerus. Abdominal head. How about that? Sternal head, from the sternum to the humerus, and we have right over here from the clavicle. Guess what? It's the clavicular head. Splitting up those forms, and over here there's this triangular shape, which we're gonna emphasize. Almost forgot it. So which divides so there's no muscles there. That's where we see the beginning of our deltoids. That's our deltoid from the clavicle. Very fancy. From the clavicle, so to the deltoid tuberosity, which is not visible in this model. So this is part one. It's going to be the block out. Nothing exciting you guys will see at this stage. But we're just laying out our muscles for now. Continue with our deltoids. This one from the chromium process, as chromium process. Smooth that out. I normally don't smooth out because I lose a lot of details. So we have that, and on the neck, let's cover that up. Let's grab our 10-inch standard. Yeah, we have one of my favorite muscles, the sternocleidomastoid. So the inserts at the sternum, the manubrium. I hope I have that right. I sometimes forget these names, but I always advise you guys to memorize them, but I sometimes forget them. So just separating these parts. separating these parts. Let's see. Go back to the sternocleidomeister. So it splits into two parts. The other part inserts at the manubrium, the sterno, so the sterno part, and then the other one, the clavicle. So the sternocleido-clavicle mastoideus, they say. Just dig in here just to show that split, so you guys might not get confused. Let me just dig in here. So we're just going to be going through those superficial muscles, because if we're going to be laying skin on top, there's no need to be focusing on everything. Cool. Sterna. Let's just stick that opening there, showing the sternum. I'll grab some water. Cool, and let's go to a second muscle. You can write these down, or I don't know, but if you guys need any charts with the names, we can get that information for you guys. Let's go to a second muscle, which is the trapezius. So it originates from the back of the skull there, divided into three parts. See the other one, and it attaches at the chromium process. So this is a buff nail. Trapezius. Let's save this file. I think that will be very smart. Let's call this name torso. So you remember, you guys, I told you it splits and it's divided into three parts. The second part, and another one attaches at the scapula. And there's this protruding bone over here, which you normally see, which is the cervical vertebrae, which is normally prominent. So it's something you cannot avoid. So this is like, let me draw it for you guys. This is like the first part of the second part, of the trapezius, and then this one just flows, touches down over here. Just draw that. So that fascia goes over a bit over the scapula. So it attaches over here. go with scapula. Still the trapezius. I even forgot I was just quiet just now. Normally I'm quiet when I'm thinking, but sorry for that. So I'm just gonna emphasize that for you guys. The trapezius. So it goes over the scapula a bit. So if you grab like your team dynamic, you can try to, let's see, hold on spacebar to see if it's adding or subtracting. Subtracting. So spacebar is the quickest way to allocate most of your menus, so you don't need those sidebars. That's why I normally close it. And then, like, if let's say you want to switch brushes, you can also go over here, which I hardly do because I have a hotkeys, which we went through on our interface. I think it was part 1 or part 2 when we went through our interface. Okay, we have a trapezius. Rectus abdominis is what the ladies love to see. Fortunately, we all can't provide that. Rectus abdominis. So this normally covered by the external obliques, which is a very, I don't know, thin or thick fascia. Touches here. So grabbing our our standard, Demian standard. I just want to draw that. It's important just to do the sketches first, before you lose like everything. Because you can lose a lot. You can end up trying to define something, but then you just lost it. Just gonna fix those shapes. It's normally not symmetrical, but for now, for the sake of this, we're gonna keep it symmetrical for now. Just stay in here. So U is for the intensity, S is for the draw size. If we then go through that, just down a mesh, and then just building that up. As you guys remember, we're still in low res. Turn down the intensity. Holding down Alt options to switch between Z and Z sub. Oh my word, ZBrush basics. Just doing that, and then just coming in, just building the forms around those lines we had there. Nothing fancy, but we have that. Just grab our Demian standard. Let's say this is a humorous. Let's just call it the rumors. I'm just gonna try and make this prettier. Okay, I can't. And try. And then curve trim dynamic. Hold down Option or Alt. You can switch between that and trim add. Adding those forms. Going to miss clay buildup. One of my favorite brushes, the clay buildup brush, because it solves a lot of issues. Don't forget to Control S. Save the project file. Just choose ZBR. Dynamic sphere. Let's just say torso. No. Torso. Okay, if I can write something. Torso, not sure. Torso. Cool. And then we have underneath over here, covering the ribs a bit, the serratus anterior. Serratus anterior underneath. I'm not gonna draw them, it's gonna take forever. Just gonna build up those forms, and they covered with the latissimus dorsi, so it's gonna be pointless to draw them anyway. So if you guys are gonna be doing like drawings, you're gonna be drawing a male or sculpting a male. This exercise takes longer, but then I truly advise it when you guys are starting your anatomy, your characters, whatever you do, you sculpting or drawing, I truly advise you guys to practice this technique, because it's like when you get used to it, it's like, okay, now I know what's underneath, and then I can start doing, because we're still gonna add skin, I believe, so this is just our underlining part. So I have a serratus anterior over here. With 38 minutes. Let's do 1 hour of this, and then let's go to the back. So at the back, let me just move okay, cool. So at the back, we have our deltoids. Deltoid muscle. Deltoid muscle and bit of a tricep. But I'm just going to be covering what's visible. So the infraspinatus. Infraspinatus, if there's infra, there's definitely supraspinatus, yeah, somewhere here on top. It's covered by the deltoid. So then we have our teres minor, and we have our teres major muscle over here. Now we underneath have our rhomboid and all those goodies. unfortunately, most of our half of our teres major is going to be covered with latissimus dorsi. Sorry, teres major. We have to cover you now. So this muscle starts like it. So it also attaches at the humerus. It spins here on top. So here on top, it's a bit thicker than at the bottom. It's a very thin sheet. It's like fascia, very very thin. Just building up those forms. We have our scapulae muscles underneath. See, so you normally see like bumps over here, which is our scapulae, the scapulae muscles underneath. Because this muscle is so thin, you can see the underlying muscles underneath. So that's what I'm trying to define here. So it's like curves like this. And our teres, or infraspinatus, teres major, trapezius, and then just pull up our deltoids. So these models you can 3D print yourself, or you could just use it as your own guide. Whatever suits you. So it's entirely up to you guys. I'm almost showing our gluteus muscles. I'm not going to be going through those, but we almost have those. Okay, cool. Just focusing on deltoids. This is just coming in the clay with a brush. Pretty much the same technique as all our tutorials. This coming in. So these project files for the pro or premium users, it's going to be available. And don't be afraid when everything doesn't make sense at this stage, because it's not supposed to. You're probably asking yourself, what's this pointy part over here? So this is the trapezius. Bit of the trapezius. She's grabbing a standard brush. Just trying to define that. Cool. Get the side view. Just grab our move brush. Just fixing the silhouette again. So the shape differs with males, but then normally you have to get this curve, because the vertebral column that's curving. That you can't avoid. If you hate curves, I'm sorry. So, but that you can't avoid. Cool. Not too happy with this, but we will be fixing this. Let's do this. Okay, what we're looking at now. Now let's do our. Okay, let's clean up our serratus, and then turn this down for 1. Let's do our external obliques. Is it external? Yeah, external obliques. Let's do that. Very nice fascia going through here. Let's provide 2. External obliques. Coming in there. Building that up. Just not staying in one place, just moving up and down. I'm just picky about this. Can't it be like equal? And then yeah, leave that for now. And also come in, but let's see which one do we use. Yeah, standard. That's too hard. Focus shift is fine. Let's increase that a bit. Sweet. So this can serve as your guide when you're starting your sculpt. This can serve as your underlining parts. I would say like for the first month, or let's say for your first week, if you haven't sculpted a figure before, just practice this technique and look at our 3D viewers, or purchase the models, or if you're on premium you get these models for free, and just practice. and because this is very important, it'll make you understand like what's underneath, how muscles are flowing. It'll teach you guys a lot of stuff. As you can see, I'm not entirely happy with everything I see, so I'm just keep on moving around, having my anatomy in mind, just coming in and pushing your geometry, never to be satisfied very early. Just come criticize yourself before people come criticize you, and keep on practicing. And again, these classes are available lifetime, hopefully forever. For now, that's how we doing things. So I guess we're gonna stop here for now for today, and keep on practicing. Give this your time. It's gonna be rewarding. Like if you're concerned about the measurement, we went through measuring the proportions in our proportions. It's a free tutorial in our YouTube channel, so you guys can go through that. Any questions? Let's chat. Let's interact as members in the group chat. So I'm also gonna be there, and hopefully I'm gonna be responding very quickly. Any suggestions, we will recommend it. So only premium users can request for their own tutorials, which will be made probably like a maximum of 1 hour. Only those members or those subscribed members can request those kind of tutorials. So if you're in basic or pro, you can upgrade, and then you can have a chance to request your own tutorials, and plus you get like you can be able to download these anatomy figures for free, the male and female anatomy figures. So yeah, thank you guys for your time once again. We will continue. We'll be adding skin in the next part of the tutorial, and it's gonna be fun. Anatomy is fun once you get the hang of it. No, we'll get it. Don't rush into your skin details as yet. I'm sure you guys are bored. Like when we're doing those fine details, not as yet. So thank you guys for your time once again. Saving from AC Anatomy. Hopefully, like providing tutorials that are very helpful for you guys and for the community. And these project files are available for pro members and premium members, which you guys can follow along. So I don't know how many tutorials per month, but then we're hoping to share more. So yeah, keep on practicing, and I'll see you guys on the next class. So any questions, any suggestions, please get back to us, either on our chat or just send an email, like a private. You want to go private, send an email to info@sanatomy.com, or our WhatsApp group chats. You can just pop any question there, a decent question anyway. But then, like, if you guys have suggestions or you guys have questions, but we are more than willing to share the little knowledge we have, and to that we might learn from each other, that we might assist each other where we can. This this um, this series and class we have recorded. It was something we always wanted to do. So now it's a chance, and we thought let's just do it. As you can see, if I don't the more I look into it, the more I see those mistakes, the more I'm not satisfied with the anatomy. So it is always recommended to close it and then open it the next day once your brain is fresh, and can even criticize it. Like at this stage, if you keep on sculpting it for a long time, like for huge amounts of hours, you end up being satisfied with everything. So it's always important to close it and just open it the next day when your brain is fresh and stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for your time and your patience. Let me fix this before I close this chat. I hope everything is going well with you guys, but the viewer it's working well. Any issues? Hope there's no issues and stuff. But our support team is here to assist you guys all the way. So yeah, it's Adrian here from Ace Anatomy. Enjoy the rest of your day, night. I don't know which part of your country you're in, but then stay safe. Let's continue sculpting.